Hey, it's Timo at the Bulwark. Republican Senator Tom Cotton embarrassed himself in a major way today at a oversight hearing on the Hill when he was questioning TikTok CEO Shou. I want to show you the video of this to get a real sense for how mortifying this is for Cotton, because he absolutely undermined all of his objectives. What I assume his objectives were in this is to demonize TikTok and to paint TikTok as a tool of the Chinese Communist Party. And so he begins this McCarthyite, questioning of the TikTok CEO, who is from Singapore and has an American wife. And I just want to put my cards on the table before we watch this. I have some doubts about TikTok. I don't love the elements of Chinese control. I don't love the fact that we don't have a ton of visibility into the algorithm, and whether thumb is being put on the scale sometimes in ways to divide Americans or to support Chinese interests abroad. I did an interview on this podcast with Scott Galloway, I think, where he expressed some really legitimate concerns, and I think made a prediction that TikTok, in order to maintain their regulatory approval here in America, might end up having to sell themselves to an American company. So I'm open to all those solutions. This is not a pro-TikTok propaganda situation. What this is a Republican senator embarrassing the fuck out of himself situation by, bringing out the 1950s playbook and having his ass shown to him by the TikTok CEO. So let's watch this together.
You said today, as you often say, that you live in Singapore. Of what nation are you a citizen?
Singapore.
Are you a citizen of any other nation?
No, Senator.
Have you ever applied for Chinese citizenship?
Senator, I served my nation in Singapore. No, I did not.
Do you have a Singaporean passport?
Yes, and I served my military for two and a half years in Singapore.
Do you have any other passports from any other nations?
No, Senator.
Your wife is an American citizen. Your children are American citizens.
That's correct.
Have you ever applied for American citizenship?
No, not yet.
Okay. Have you ever been a member of the Chinese Communist Party?
Senator, I'm Singaporean. No.
Have you ever been associated or affiliated with the Chinese Communist Party?
No, Senator. Again,
okay.
I'm Singaporean.
It feels like somebody might have wanted to brief him. Senator Cotton, I assume, has some staff. Maybe somebody wanted to tell him that the person that he was questioning served in Singapore's military, does not have a Chinese passport. There were some basic Q&As here that go to, things I learned in high school mock trial. You only ask questions if you're prosecuting that you know the answer to and that are going to advance your case. I'm watching this, as I said, as somebody that is not at all sympathetic to TikTok. I don't know what Tom Cotton could have done to make this CEO look better. I mean, this is a PR propaganda coup for TikTok. This now video is going to go viral. We're going to be talking about it here on YouTube. It's going to go viral on TikTok. And it's like, oh, Republican senator seems very racist in asking obvious questions and maybe is confused about the difference between Asian countries and assumes all people from Asia must be Chinese or must have allegiance to the Chinese Communist Party. The interview, if you want to call it that, the questioning, frankly, made TikTok look as innocuous as possible.
Let me ask you some hopefully simple questions. You said earlier, in response to a question, that what happened at Tiananmen Square in June of 1989 was a massive protest. Did anything else happen in Tiananmen Square?
Yes, I think it's well documented. There was a massacre.
There was an indiscriminate slaughter of hundreds or thousands of Chinese citizens. Do you agree with the Trump administration and the Biden administration that the Chinese government is committing genocide against the Uyghur people?
Senator, I've said this before. I think it's really important that anyone who cares about this topic or any topic can freely express themselves on TikTok.
It's a very simple question that unites both parties in our country and governments around the world. Is the Chinese government committing genocide against the Uyghur people?
Senator, anyone, including, you can come into TikTok and talk about this topic.
I'm asking you,
or any topic that matters to you.
You are a worldly, cosmopolitan, well-educated man who's expressed many opinions on many topics. Is the Chinese government committing genocide against the Uyghur people?
Actually, Senator, I talk mainly about my company, and I'm here to talk about what TikTok does.
Yes or no? You're here to give testimony that's truthful and honest and complete. Let me ask you this. Joe Biden last year said that Xi Jinping was a dictator. Do you agree with Joe Biden? Is Xi Jinping a dictator?
Senator, I'm not going to comment on any world leaders.
What?
Guys just stand there going, yeah, the Tiananmen Square massacre happened, bro. Yeah, my wife is American. Maybe I'll get American citizenship sometime. I served in the Singapore military. No, I'm not a member of the Chinese Communist Party. What were you thinking? Like, why do you phrase that question so it sounds exactly like a 1950s Joe McCarthy hearing? Are you or have you ever been a member of the Communist Party? I mean, you could have achieved the same goals. You kind of see at the very end of the clip, Cotton almost kind of gets somewhere talking about the Uyghur genocide. You could achieve the same goals by coming at TikTok a little more deftly, maybe asking some legitimate questions and concerns about the app and decision making and the algorithm and whether there are going to be certain types of bans like we've seen in China on social media, on controversial topics, on pro-American talk. There are a million places you could have gone with this. And instead, he takes the most hackneyed approach possible, with a little tinge of racism to it and a whole barrel of idiocy piled on top of it, and like essentially gives TikTok a PR coup. So great work, Tom Cotton. Maybe the next time you're going to try to get on a soapbox at a hearing, you actually know your facts before you start questioning the witness. And maybe even better than that, rather than trying to have a made-for-TV moment. You got your made-for-TV moment. It wasn't what you wanted. Rather than trying to have a made-for-TV moment, maybe you use these hearings to actually try to educate and illuminate people on the actual more complicated questions regarding regulation of not just TikTok, but other social media and what the impact it's having on teens and young kids. So anyway, if you want a conversation like that, go back. We'll put it in the notes here. Go back and listen to my conversation with Scott Galloway on the Next Level Sunday show, because he is so good on these topics. And we'll be back with more later this week. Peace. Hey, if you like this video and our content, I'd love for you to become a Bulwark Plus member. You get bonus podcasts, you get bonus newsletters, you get bonus takes from me that maybe don't come up on the YouTube feed. You can try it out for free at thebulwark.com/free trial. The link is below in the description. We'd love to have you as a member of our community. We have great commenters and great opportunities for people who want to protect democracy.